Greetings, ladles and jelly spoons, and welcome to Politics and War, a browser-based nation sim all about politics and war. I know, we're real inventive. I don't know, don't blame me, I didn't name the damn thing. Now, I'll be honest, there's not really a whole lot I can say about this game. It's slow, it's tedious, and any sane person would not play it for any great amount of time, so naturally I've been playing it since 2015. But when have I ever claimed sanity? Now, what I'm going to do today is give you a very, very basic rundown of what this game is. I honestly cannot show you all of the features because doing so might create a major diplomatic incident, and I'm going to do my best to avoid that because there are people that rely on me to not do that. I know, it sounds bizarre and convoluted, but trust me, it'll make sense. It makes a lot of sense. So let's do the most basic of things that you can do on Politics and War. Let's log in. And you thought I was going to show you my login details. Get out of here with that shit. Oh dear, yes. This is the nation page, or more specifically my nation page. I am part of the Yukikuni Protectorate, or that's what I chose to call it anyway. I am a very, 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 very old nation. Don't know why I've got that in the background. I could probably change it. Don't know how, never tried, don't care. I've only been playing this game for 1,100 and, was it 96 days now, I think? Should tell me further down here. Oh no, 1,197. God, I've been at this for way too long, haven't I? So yeah, the basic breakdown of I wanted to say city then, I don't know why. The basic breakdown of a nation. You got your header here. Beautiful, isn't it? Got all these options on the left, don't worry, that's just your menu. Apparently, I've got one pending trade. We will deal with that later when I show you how trades work. We've got all these interesting options, most interesting of which sounds like espionage. Not really, though, unfortunately. Here we are. Yukikuni Protectorate is a nation led by Lord Sval on the continent of Europe. Yes, that's right, you can put your country anywhere in the world you want. That affects things you can do elsewhere in the game, most notably resources. I'll explain a bit of that later. The smart among you may have noticed this bar along the top telling you things. That's a resource and a money breakdown. I'm giving away top secret information about my war chest. Nobody look at that. Just pretend you can't see that. Pretend you can't see that. Anyway, yes, here we are, the nation description. The government is an absolute monarchy, because who needs democracy? Screw democracy! With very moderate social policies. There we go. Economically, we favour moderate policies. The official currency is the pound sterling, because I'm not very inventive. 1,197 days old, we're an ancient nation. I don't feel that old, but if an online game says I am, I guess I must be. Protectorate has a population of 6.341 million, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in the context of this game, it's a fair old chunk. And an area of 42,000 square miles. It's pretty small, pretty compact, pretty well contained. Average population density of 150 people per... Well, 150.99. That 0.99 is a guy that actually lost his little finger. Yeah, we went to war and we had to amputate. It was just an injury that he couldn't escape from. So he is the 0.99, and he is a national hero now. Yes, he is. The citizens' faith in the government is at an all-time high because they are deluded and we put poisonous things in the water. That's not true, I don't do that. I'm Prime of Order of the White Rose. I'll explain what that means a little bit later on when we stumble upon alliances. Yeah, that factors heavily into the politics side of things. I'm a veteran of several wars. Nothing significant there, just don't worry about that, just ignore it. Here we have a breakdown. I am located there. Those of you who know anything about me might know what is underneath that dot. Yeah. So here we are. This. Apparently, I'm a VIP. I don't remember that happening. I'm active now. Who knew? I've logged in and I'm active now. There we go. My alliance. I'm part of Order of the White Rose. Again, I will explain a bit more of that later. Got various awards. Just how long I've been in the game. This is what I've accrued over time. I was here when the game turned 1, which was 1,000,000 years ago. I was here when the nation count here surpassed that of another random nation game that you probably never heard of. Seems significant. Singularity! Because you might notice, if you look here, Orbis date. Orbis is the planet we're on, by the way. Orbis date. Well, that's the current date, October 23rd, sorry. That's the in-game date. So he's a little bit ahead, because it's a tick-based game, and a day is, a couple of hours in this. But it started started way before the present day, and there was a point where they overlapped, and I was here for that singularity. Yeah, I can't believe it was June last year. Holy shit. And I was here for the 4th anniversary. Yeah, for some reason, after the 1st anniversary, you had to pay to get the awards. So it might seem odd that I have a 1-year anniversary award and a 4-year anniversary award and nothing in between. I was here for that. I just didn't have a subscription at the time. Because I thought, you know, help the game. You play the game for however long, you should probably help it out. So I did that, and I'm now officially a hero. Yay! So there we go. Population breakdown, infrastructure, all yada yada yada. This is all relevant to the economy and shit. It's a significant GDP. Yeah, I wish I could cash out, but it won't let me for some reason. Here we have some domestic policies. I'm an absolute monarchy. I've got open markets. I'm moderate, apparently, which surprised me. My religion is potato-farian. Can't get away from the potatoes. Approval rating is 100%, 459.9. I don't know what the relevance of that number is. It probably means something. Pollution index. We have a lot of pollution. Not as bad as it could be. And currently, very, very high radiation index. That is because there is currently a global war going on. Quite significant, I might add. Quite a substantial, significant global war. No point digging into that too much. And we have a baseball team. There is an in-game baseball team. So a game within a game. Very meta. And my team are called the Shazbat Snowy... I can't even pronounce that, and I wrote it. Shazbat Snozwanglers. There you go. A little bit of Mork and Mindy and Willy Wonka there. Two things you wouldn't expect to mix. I have an army. Apparently not much of an army. Ooh, we're operating Arcane. I forgot about that. Yeah, the war policy determines what can happen where and when and why. I probably shouldn't be showing you all this, but anyone can see anyway. I've got 1,800 airplanes. All of them called Jim. I've got max spies. You can't use that against me, any enemy people that happen to be watching this. Yeah, I've got max spies. How awesome am I? I've also got max ships. That's a lot of boats. I didn't have to name them all. I didn't. I mean, this is all information that people could get from me anyway, so I'm not actually showing you that much that's secretive. We have not taken a lot of money. We've won one more war than we've lost. We have quite a turbulent history. Haven't fought all that much, though. You know, there are nations that spend every minute of every day fighting, more or less. Especially the pirates. Oh my god, the pirates. And we have national projects that give us boosts in various different things. You don't want to hear about that, stuff like that. But it's like infrastructure boosts, economy boosts, military boosts, defensive and offensive, propaganda for recruitment and shit like that. Things to fight off nukes and things to build nukes. We don't currently have any nukes, which is a shame. But we are nuclear capable, and what more could you want? So yes, let's explore this a little bit. What here is relevant? I'll tell you what. Let's delve into the most basic of things about this game: the cities. Yeah. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm not exactly sure how to explain this in a very concise way, but I'll give it a go. Cities are the single most important thing in this game. Cities represent your economic potential, your military potential. They are where everything happens, pretty much. Cities consist of... Well, I'll delve into an individual city to show you more specifics of that. But as you can see here, we've got this huge, huge table of text and numbers and stuff that means absolutely nothing to you, but means an awful lot to me. It tells me when I built the city. That one is very old. The first city I built was the City of the Bard. Everything else is named after something to do with Yorkshire. I know. I'm just that inventive. Cities have, well, they're made from a combination of infrastructure and land. These things are where your population lives. Your population suffer with disease and crime. There's also pollution that comes along. There's commerce, can't even pronounce. They need power, they need electricity, and I'm apparently doing that with nuclear and coal power. The reason for that is because different types of power different amounts of infrastructure. I could just use complete nuclear power. Nuclear power, for example, powers 2,000 infrastructure. But I would be using 2 nuclear power plants and using all my uranium, which is more expensive than coal, to power things that I don't have. It would just be a waste of resources and money at this point. So I just make up the difference with coal, because it's cheaper. It's cheaper, and I'm a cheap feck, I can tell you that much. We have various improvements that you can build. Now, I did point out earlier that I was in Europe. Now, being in a specific geographic area of the Earth determines which resources you can produce. You can buy any resource you want, but the ones that you can actually produce are dependent on where you are. Now, being in Europe, that means I can produce coal, iron, and lead. As you can see, the only thing I actually produce in any quantity is coal. That's because it's the hardest thing for me to get my hands on. I've got trade deals set up with people to get all the other things that I need. It's awesome. It's amazing what you can do with other people. And I use all of this stuff to produce steel. Now, all these are raw mined things. These are the things you can manufacture. You can produce anything that can be manufactured in-game you can manufacture. It's just the raw resources that can only be produced in certain regions. I produce steel, which takes iron and coal, which I can produce plenty of myself. So you might be asking yourself, Sval, if you can produce these things, why aren't you? Well, it's because the retard who created the game created a production bonus. So if I max out my steel mills, I produce 50% more per mill than if I just had one per city. So this is basically taking a huge advantage of the game mechanic. Unfortunately, the number of improvements you can build is dependent on the amount of infrastructure you have, and infrastructure gets more expensive the more you have. So I can't afford to have enough infrastructure to produce all of my own iron and coal. I wish I did. That would also create a hell of a lot of pollution, which would create disease, which would drive down population, which would harm my income through taxes. See how all this stuff is interlinked? I'm not going to go into too much detail about it all, but you see how everything you do is linked. You don't want too much pollution, you don't want too much disease. You can build hospitals and police stations to deal with disease and crime. You can produce, recycling centres and subways and stuff, clean up pollution, and you got all these extra things like supermarkets, banks, shopping malls and stadiums all boost income and etc, etc. And then you've got your military improvements, which I have a shit ton of because you need a military, otherwise you get attacked and you get killed, and you don't want to get killed because that'll ruin your day. Yeah, and that's basically how all this works. All these improvements affect all these various stats in your city, which affects the population and the amount of money you make and the resources you produce and collect and accrue. Hours of fun, hours of fun. So shall we take a look at a city then, at an individual city, and I'll show you what's what? Yeah, that sounds like a plan, doesn't it? That sounds like a plan. We haven't even got into the politics and war side of it yet. Oh my god, this is just how the basic game works. Well, here we are in the City of the Bard. Quite a significant city. It's my oldest, it's my capital, and it is my most populous, with 349,750 people. It's awfully specific, isn't it? That number is entirely dependent, more or less, on infrastructure. Yeah, I know. The more infrastructure you have, the more people you have. Makes sense in any game, I think. More or less how it works in real life as well. But the number does also just naturally creep up the older cities. So an older city with that much infrastructure will have a lot more population than a brand new one with the same infrastructure. Quite a significant difference as well when you span it over, how old was it? Yeah, 1,197 days. Makes a slight difference. And the more population you have, the more money you have. So it's nice, it's nice. Excuse me. So this city has 350,000 people, we'll say, in an area of 3,000 square miles. So not too much of a huge population density. It's manageable. We've got no disease, we've got no crime. Commerce is good, which gives me an income boost. The average income is $7.75. Don't know what that means. Well, I know what that means. That's, you multiply that by the number of citizens and you get your daily income from the city. But yes, the city is powered. Now, if I don't have power, nothing works in the city. I make no money, I make no resources. And that is bad. That is bad. You do not want that. Okay, I've got a pollution index of 9. If your pollution gets too high, disease starts creeping up. The only way to deal with that, really, is to clean up your mess. Or build hospitals. Hospitals help. I can buy more infrastructure, I can buy more land. I don't want to because it gets expensive. I mean, it's really, really, really cheap, excuse me, to buy your first amount of infrastructure. If I want to buy just 100 levels now, just 100 levels, it costs 3.992 million, and it would be ruined because I would need to change my powering situation because I have just enough power to power this much infrastructure. I know, it's bonkers. Here's all the things I can build. My various plants, the resources I can mine, the resources I can then produce. Well, now I was talking about the production bonus. There it is. Because I have the most number of steel mills in a city that I can. I mean, each improvement you can produce, there's a cap on how many you can have. It's so you can't just go nuts and just build a city forever. You can build 5 steel mills per city. And I have, and that gives me a 50% bonus per mill. So we make more money and more steel, and, you know, this is one thing I need, is more steel. Civil improvements to fight pollution and disease and other fascinating things, and just generally improve the life of my citizens. I may be an evil absolute monarch, but I care. I care. And it's important to care. We've got commerce, which boosts your commerce. Seems fairly straightforward. And you've got military, which lets you build all the basic military units. You've got soldiers, you've got tanks, you've got airplanes, and you've got ships. Yeah, and that's a city breakdown. It's nice, isn't it? Nice, yeah. And yeah, the number of improvements, as I say, is limited by the amount of infrastructure you've got. You see, I've got 2,500 infrastructure, and I can build 50 improvements. And I've got 50 out of 50. When people start going to war with you, infrastructure is what gets damaged in the city. They don't actually get the opportunity to take the city from you. So once you've got a city, that's it, it's yours for life. You know, a city's for life, not just for Christmas. But infrastructure comes and goes, and it gets blown up. And if people blow it up, you've got less room for improvements. And that's reflected there. And it makes it difficult, because when war comes around, you might want to swap your improvements. Because you've got a limited amount of space you can build in, you might want to, say, get rid of some of one thing and build more of another. I'm fortunate enough to be able to have maximum military improvements at all time. That's just the way it is. Some people don't do that. They will go nuts with the economy and have none of these. And then war comes around. And if someone sneak attacks them, destroys their infrastructure, they can't build as many. They have to replace that infrastructure before they can build the full 50 again, if they're at the level I'm at. So, you know, there's a strategy involved. And my strategy is be prepared. Other people is make money. Money out the wazoo. Money for ages. Yay. And that's cities. The next thing I figured I would explore, ignore these advertisements at the top. Yes, it's advertisement, but it's for in-game alliances. We will get to that. But the next thing I figured that I should explore, since I've got one at the minute, is, well, my notifications. This is where you are informed of everything that goes on. Everything that goes on in your country. It's amazing, right? I've got recent activity, I've got system activity, trade activity. So as you can see, we have recent activity. The Land of Fire sent me a trade offer for 1,000 iron in exchange for no dollars. Now, that someone is giving me iron for free here, okay? May seem like cheating. I'll explain why it isn't in a moment. But as you can see, that appears there, and if you go down and see what else is going on, it tells you what kind of notification you're getting. So there's that. I haven't had any war activity lately because I haven't been to war lately. I haven't been doing any bank activity. I haven't been engaged in any espionage. I haven't been embargoing anyone. And my baseball players have been regularly retiring because I don't play the baseball. It's activated, but I don't do anything with it. You can train your players, and you can build up your team, and you can compete for money, and it's just not worth it. You always invest more money than you get out. So I just ignore it, and occasionally get a notification when someone's retired. So, you know, there's that. So yes, so someone has offered me a trade. This fella is a member of my alliance, and we do preferential trades with each other. So shall I delve into the trade for you? We'll show you what's what. So I have access here to the global market. Okay, the global market, where I can access any of these resources. All these resources have uses. Especially these ones down this end of the bar, because they are relevant to war. Food even a little bit as well, because people won't do anything if they don't have food. And there's various offers. You know, you just search for the thing you want, and you can just browse through, and you get all this stuff to choose from. Now, obviously, you're going to go for the cheapest. Food has skyrocketed in price lately, because nuclear war is preventing people from producing any. Hate when that happens, don't you? But we have a specific trade deal to deal with, so I'm just going to get in there and accept that. Yeah, Land of Fire, Order of the White Rose is trading with me. As you can see, I regularly have a lot of these preferential trades going on. It's just a way, because we're allies, I like to help them, and they help me, because I would spend a fortune on iron that might not necessarily get back through the steel, because I turn the iron into the steel, but they need the steel, I need the iron. So we do this. So I buy his iron. Yeah, very technical. I'm not going to go back into his nation. I'm going to trade, and I'm going to give him all the steel he wants. The steel amount, 1,000 he gave me. Charge him nothing for it, because he's already paid with the iron. Personal deal, Land of Fire, and sell. Now imagine doing that. Lots and lots and lots to get all these things you need, because I don't produce anything other than steel right now. Yes, I produce a little bit of coal, but steel is the only thing I create that is a trade in any quantity that would be regularly tradable. Everything else I have to buy. I buy all my food, I buy all my my aluminum, because it's an American game, all my gasoline. I don't really buy bauxite or any shit like that, but all my uranium, all my iron and coal. Yeah, so regularly play with the trade screen. So there's that aspect to it. And if you produce these in huge quantities, you can almost corner the market sometimes. A couple of times I have managed to go on, buy up so much iron or so much coal that I have just caused the price to skyrocket. Just fun sometimes. Or, you know, just dump a whole ton of steel to drive the price down. Not something I do regularly, because that kind of thing does provoke wars. Wars with who, I hear you ask? Well, maybe that's what I should delve into next. Because I can't show you an actual feckin' war, because I'm not in a feckin' war. Bleh. So, here we are. The most basic social unit in this game. The Alliance. As you can see, there are a lot of them. That's just the first 50. Yeah, so what have we got? We've got the name of the Alliance. We've got the date they were created. Some of them are very old. As you can see, this one, Black Knights, allies of mine, by the way, was created in 2014. This game has been going a long, long time. A long, long time. There's how many people are in them. So you see some of them are quite large communities. You can ignore the colour thing. The colour thing is largely irrelevant. If your nation colour matches your alliance colour, you get an income boost. It's as simple as that. And that's pretty much the end of it. You can choose where to headquarter your alliance. There's no real benefit to being anywhere, as far as I'm aware. The average score of a member and the total score of all the members. And that's that. And all these guys at the top right now, most of them, are currently at war. These guys, the Knights Radiant, have taken a bit of a pasting lately from New Pacific Order, Black Knights, the Syndicate, you know. Everyone's going to town on them. I'm not currently involved in that. I am the neutral menace. What kind of horror drives a man to be neutral? Well, not having a horse in the race, I guess. You know, that does it. And if you keep scrolling far enough, you go way, way down here. Here's my guys. Yay! Look at us. So there are 32 people who more or less listen to what I have to say. Because I'm in charge. Don't ask me how that happened. Don't ask me why. I mean, presumably one or two of you are actually watching this video. Why? Why? Are you crazy? Are you nuts? Are you bananas? We have an average score of about 2,000. And we have a total score of 66,000. So, you know, we're small, but we're not insignificant. We're in the top 30 quite comfortably. Should we have a look at us? Should we have a dig at Sval's people? Now, brace yourselves, because I don't know how loud this is going to be. We do have a national anthem. Everybody rise for the national anthem. It's not playing. Yeah. I'm feeling all patriotic. Let's just pause for the time being. Yeah, so this is my alliance, the Order of the White Rose. Look at our nifty little flag, and we've got some fascinating little symbol things, some swords with roses around them. Definitely a White Rose theme. Yeah, again, if you know anything about me, you'll know where the White Rose comes from. Unity and prosperity, glory and honour. Stand as one, thrive together. Yes. Order of the White Rose is a friendly, growing and closely knitted community. That's horrible wording, isn't it? I should fix that. We are a Discord active community, which is where most of our politics goes on, by the way. I might show you that a little bit later on. In fact, I probably should show you that, shouldn't I? Because that is where most of the politicking happens. We welcome veterans and newbies alike. We do, but we're very, very picky about who we have. We only let in the highest quality raving lunatics. For all FA, Foreign Affairs questions, contact Sval or Delacroix. I should change that as well, because he is not in charge of that anymore. He moved. Yeah, contact me for any unsanctioned raiding activities. Yay! So this here, these people are my government. Yeah. Prime me. Regent Emeritus Della. Now Della, I should point out, is my absolute hero. He has been with me in this from almost the very beginning. Didn't know the guy from Adam when I first started. Pretty much the first guy I recruited, and he has been unwavering ever since. He's held, I think, pretty much every position in government at some point or other, because when we first started there were two of us, and if I wasn't doing it, he was doing it. So I created this special title for him because he deserves an honour. For 3 years almost now, he's been doing the shit I tell him to do, without question. You're my hero, Della. Monkey Butt, Prime Regent. Do you know, Monkey Butt? Oh, that's a bot on our Discord server, and technically not government, but the person who's really in charge, yes. Grafer, in charge of my foreign affairs. He goes and tells all the other alliances how much we love them or how much we hate them. Again, my hero. Kabu, in charge of internal affairs. He is amazing. He was doing all the internal affairs work before I even put him in charge of it. He makes sure everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet. He trains the new people. He sets policies that, comes up with ideas to help us do things like that. He's in charge of recruitment. So we would have died out long ago if it wasn't for him. We'd run out of new people. And you need new people to replace the old people that leave. And old people do leave, the bastards. We've got Lewis, our economic wizard. You will see he's got 2 titles, Legate of Economics and Proconsul of Awesome. A Proconsul is different from a Legate in my alliance, alright? A Legate heads a department, a Proconsul is advisory. He was a Proconsul, he came in to do a job, and he's been doing an amazing economic job ever since. He is my economic wizard, and he is a wizard. I'm convinced he sits there with a wand and a magic hat when he's doing his economic wizardry. I don't know, either that or he's a hacker. I haven't figured it out. He's also the reason I'm currently on 100% tax, is this thieving get. I don't know. Legate of Defense, Dr. Roxo. Now, this is the guy that protects us all. If someone attacks our people, he is on it like a shot. Even when he's asleep at night, I'm sure he logs in and he fixes things. He's just that amazing. He's recently helped me implement some military reforms as well in my alliance. We now have all kinds of interesting things happening to make us better at defending ourselves. None of which we've got to test yet, because we're not actually at war, but yeah! Underneath them, we've got the Proconsul of Potatoes. Potatoes again. Axios, yes, my hero Axios. Third longest serving member of the Alliance. He's been with us for years as well. Everyone calls him Saint Axios, because he is our saint, our patron saint of Spuds. And he's just always been there. And Cora. Oh, Cora. Is that a hard K, Cora? I assume it is, because there's no U. So it's K, not Qua. I don't know. Proconsul of Tacos. He is my no man, okay? And what I mean by no man... No, man. If everyone else on this council agrees with me, it's his job to say no. I literally hired him. I say hired, I don't pay him. I promoted him, better word. I promoted him to basically just tell me I'm an idiot all the time. And he does a fantastic job of it. He keeps me under control. We have... Oh, God, we need to change that because he's not with us anymore. Vicarious is the second in command of a department. And we basically only have one of foreign affairs. Now... Bulbasaur sucks. That is not my personal philosophy, but I'm loath to disagree with the man. Yeah, he dabbles in everything. I mean, his official position is foreign affairs, but he does FA, he does IA. I've seen him in Milcom. I think he once actually led Milcom for a while. Went away and came back. I don't know. So yeah, he's everywhere at once. He's our Schrodinger Bulbasaur. He's both dead and alive and everywhere at once. Active treaties. Fascinating stuff in this game as well. You can treaty other alliances to arrange mutual agreements, I suppose you would call them. And these guys here are all our allies. Now, these guys in the block, we are the new kids on the block. We get together, we sing, we produce crap pop music, and everyone loves us for it. Yeah. I don't know, we're allies, we've got each other's back, basically. And the Black Knights... What can I say about BK? They've been our friends forever, almost from the get-go. They protected us when we were too small to protect ourselves, and then they've been our longest-standing ally ever since. One of the longest treaties in game. All right, it's years old. Okay, we've been allied together longer than some rail countries have. All right, that's how long we've been friends for. Not in Vanguard block, but pretty close, guys. How to apply and shit. Yeah, and here we go. Here we go. A breakdown of all the interesting things about us. What can I say? People joining, people leaving, treaties being proposed, strength being gained and lost, all this funky jazz. Treaty web, all the people we're tied to in various ways. Fighting pacifists. Brilliant oxymoron. Not allied to us, but we have a non-aggression agreement. Who doesn't love a good nap? Who doesn't love a good nap? Could have explained what that meant, couldn't I? MDOAP, Mutual Defence Optional Aggression Pact. So we will have your backs, and if you want to go attack someone, we might join in if we want to. We didn't the last time, but you never know. You never know. Yeah, you've seen it. I've repeated all this information elsewhere, so we'll ignore that. This is an interesting breakdown, I've always felt. You can ignore all that shit there. That doesn't really mean anything. We've got 428 cities. 428? I consider that pretty good going. That's a lot of cities. It's a lot of infrastructure as well, a lot of land. You know, we cover a big area. We're not Russia or anything, but, you know, we're pretty damn big. And there's 93 million of us. I mean, that's a pretty hefty population. You know, that's bigger than Germany. I know, right? I mean, it's a lot of people. I mean, and then, you know, they all work for us. You know, we slave drive them, we steal their taxes, and occasionally feed them. What more could a guy want? Fairly modest GDP. We've got a shit ton of soldiers and tanks and shit. We've got a lot of nukes as well. I shouldn't be giving away information like this, but everyone has access to this detail anyway. Excuse me, anyway. And our applicants got their messages this morning asking them to get their ass on our Discord. I wonder if they will. You never can tell. You never can tell. It's a basic rundown of the basics of the game, basically. It's all very basic. What can I show you? I'll tell you what, we'll have a look at a war. I'll explain a little bit about war, because it's half the game blooming name, so I should show you something, shouldn't I? Yeah, I should. Alright. Alright, bear with me. So, as you can see, war is quite a large occurrence in this game. No real surprise there. I don't think anyone would be surprised to find out that there are wars going on. Especially as there is a major global war going on right now. So a lot of this is that, basically. And wars, it's not complicated in this game. But you've got various military units and types of attack you can do. As I say, you've got soldiers, you've got tanks, you've got planes, you've got ships, okay? Now, tanks and planes and ships need gasoline to work, and everybody needs ammunition to fire. You can send your troops in without using ammunition if you fancy giving them a fist fight, but there ain't no soldier in the world going to win by punching a tank. Not even Chuck Norris, yeah, sod off. So yeah, and that means you got options of doing ground attacks, air attacks, and naval attacks. And you can do nuclear attacks and missile attacks as well if you want to. Generally, missile attacks and nuclear attacks are regarded as a last resort. You only really do them if you're desperate, because the aim is to win the war and steal resources, or sometimes it's just to do as much damage as you want. Okay, you can do something called beigeation, which is where when you win, it goes on to the colour beige, which means it's protected from war. You might not necessarily want to do that. If your aim is to grind an alliance down, you want to do as much damage as you can without beiging them. And then when your war expires, let the next guy come in and continue damaging. You don't want them to have that recovery time. But the trick is getting there. If you do air attacks, you get superiority. You do ground attacks, you get ground superiority. And that all affects how many units your enemy can use. If you've got air superiority, your opponents can only use so many tanks. It's like 2/3. And if you get ground, they can only use so much air. It's all very, 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 very simple. Sounds convoluted, but it's very, very simple. And you basically have this slinging match, which these guys aren't really doing. There's a very, very bad example of a war. Let's just head back a sec. Let's have a look. Pantheon and Ark. Pirates, yes, they're attacking pirates. Might have been some fighting going on in this one. Would have been a bit of fighting. So there you go. Ordered an airstrike. Yeah, not the best victory. You need, if you get an immense triumph. Yeah, there's various different degrees of success, and if you get an immense triumph, you get air control. So, moderate success, immense triumph. There you go. That guy there, will have got air control there, which gives him huge bonuses going forward. You know, you can lose an entire war in one battle doing this, and spend the rest of it trying to recover. If you use your ships, you get a naval blockade going. Alright, and that stops them being able to trade or get assistance or anything like that. So that can be useful as well for isolating an enemy, wearing them down and giving them no way to get help from the outside. Beautiful. And you keep fighting until this resistance is gone. Each type of victory knocks off a certain amount of resistance, and you keep going until it hits 0. At that point they're beige, they're out, they're gone, they're done. This war, not been very expensive so far. 45 infrastructure destroyed, a few aircraft, but that'll escalate as time goes on. And, well, my money is on the guy from the New Pacific Order. Just saying, just saying. So that's war. That is war. And as I say, the war happens between individual nations, but it's generally orchestrated at the alliance level. And there are some very big alliances flinging shit at each other right now. It is fascinating to watch. Fascinating. Now, when it comes to the politics of the game, the actual inter-alliance politics, because that's what most of the politics is, a lot of that goes on Discord, as I said. A lot of it, the direct stuff, the peer-to-peer stuff takes part on Discord. But there is also the game forums. And a fair bit happens in this section here, this little alliance section. People post things like declarations of war, of which there are a lot. Yeah, exciting things. Naughty list, I bet I'm not on that, because I'm very well behaved. Yes, I am. And this is where most of the shit-slinging takes place. Yeah. Not the most interesting of politics, but when someone wants to declare something into the world, they just stand here and scream from the top of their lungs. Or maybe occasionally blow down a conch. But we'll, you know, don't judge. Leave people to their own kinks. So, here we are. Discord, the place where the real magic happens. If you don't know what Discord is, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but, yeah. As you can see, I am part of an awful lot of servers. There are a lot of servers here. And all of these, with the exception of, I think, that one, are relevant to the game. Each one represents an alliance, or a coalition of alliances, but these all represent sweet, juicy diplomacy. And as you can see, I ignore most of them. A lot of unread notifications there. They're not all relevant to my interests at all times, I will admit. No offence to other alliances. But sometimes it's important just to be there to be sort of flying the flag, especially as an alliance leader. Who allows that, by the way? So the ones most relevant to my interests, the ones that keep near the top, are my allies. But these two in particular, these are the ones I've recently joined. I should rearrange this by order of relevance, but these ones are particularly relevant. Vanguard, this is the collection of alliances to which my alliance belongs. Yeah, we are beautiful, we're amazing. And I've deliberately clicked on public lobby because a few moments ago I almost accidentally showed you the secret, top secret areas. I can't show you these. As far as you're concerned, these do not exist. Moving on. This is Alberosa, where my alliance lives. Aren't we amazing? Yeah, we are. Look at all the stuff we've got. Look at all these channels. More top secret stuff up here that I'm not going to show you. All these diplomacies and military and shit, and it's all fascinating. And this is the diplomacy that's going on. As you can see, it is all highly relevant. Yeah, it is. And, yeah. What more can I say? It's just where everyone chats all the time. All my people, Kith. Kith is our basic membership because we are a family first and foremost. But all the relevant diplomacy, say hi, you guys are famous. You're famous, you're famous, you're famous. You should be famous, you're amazing, Cora. Well done. You're awesome. Bulba! Scrambled Wawa Skittle Tits. Oh, that links back to another joke. Oh, it really does. Oh no, someone's writing! Stop writing, dude, stop writing! Is he going to give us secrets? Give me secrets, Cora. Give me all of the secrets. Tell me what's what. You'd be amazed by what we talk about on here. You know, it's mostly spam, but we're all having a good time. Let's inject some presents, shall we? Let's just inject this here. No one will ever see this coming. I'm the hero that nobody asked for. Oh yes. I don't know why Batman or Nigel would laugh like that. Can I ride a horse? Only backwards. Yay! Every leader needs to know how to ride a horse and point fingers. I can definitely point fingers, yes. I point like a mofo. at horses. I don't know. This is how our conversations normally go, by the way. Very, very much official. That's the game, guys. This is our Discord. I don't know. What can I say about it? As you can see, it's an exceedingly dull game, but it's the community behind it like this that makes it interesting. It honestly is. If it wasn't for these guys here and all these ones that are currently offline, all these people pretend to care what I think. It's very sweet of them. If it wasn't for all these guys here, I wouldn't still be playing this game. I would not. It gets that boring that quickly. I don't know, maybe you want to check it out. I'll put a link in the description. Check it out, join up, come say hi. If you're already part of it, get back to work. I'm not paying you to sit around and watch videos. Get back to work. Help us reach the top. We're going to be awesome one day. I don't know. Until next time, guys. Take care, have fun, and ta-ra. If you enjoy my efforts to be vaguely entertaining, you can now support me on Patreon. $1, a pound, a yen, a euro, whatever you've got, whatever you can spare, all helps. Over 1 million fed. Thank you for watching, and ta-ra.